You bump into a chair and you say sorry to the chair, and the chair says nothing because it's a chair. But here's the wild part. That reflex says something real about you, something most people never figure out about themselves. And once you hear the science behind it, you'll never feel embarrassed about it again. Dr. Adam Waytz at Northwestern University in Chicago has spent years studying why humans assign feelings and intentions to things that don't have them. His research shows it isn't a quirk or a weird habit. It's actually a sign of how your brain is wired. He calls it anthropomorphism. And people who do this tend to have stronger empathy, a more active social brain, and a deeper need for connection than most people around them. So before you cringe at yourself, that apology to the table? That was based. Sign 1. Your empathy runs deeper than most people's. When you apologize to an object, your brain isn't confused. It's doing what it does best, scanning for anything that might have been hurt. Dr. Waytz found that people high in empathy are significantly more likely to anthropomorphize objects. Your brain extends consideration to everything around it. It genuinely cannot switch that off. Just because the thing you bumped into doesn't have feelings. You're not broken. You're not being dramatic. Your empathy is running at full volume all the time, in every direction. And it doesn't know how to pause itself just because a chair is involved. It wasn't built with an off switch for that. Most people wish they had that kind of default. That's not a flaw. That's a whole era. Sign 2. You have an unusually active social brain. There's a part of your brain called the medial prefrontal cortex. It activates when you're thinking about other people's emotions and experiences. In people who apologize to objects, this region fires up even for non-living things. Your brain is running social processing software constantly, even when there's no one around who actually needs it. It's not that you can't tell the difference between a chair and a person. You absolutely can. It's that your brain defaults to treating the world like it's full of things worth considering. It's always on, always scanning, always reaching outward. It never fully powers down. Most people's brains don't operate at that level of constant social awareness. And honestly, that's a vibe. A whole different level of being switched on. Sign 3. You were raised in a high accountability environment. Dr. Waytz's research also connects anthropomorphism to early social conditioning. If you grew up in a home where politeness, consideration, and awareness of others were deeply valued, those reflexes get baked in early. They become automatic. So automatic that they fire even when there's no person to be polite to. You apologize to the chair because somewhere, at some point, being aware of your impact was simply the rule. That conditioning doesn't stop to check who's on the receiving end. It just runs. And for a lot of people who do this, that same upbringing also built strong social skills, high emotional awareness, and a genuine instinct to care about how others feel in every single room they walk into. Bestie, that tracks more than most people realize. Sign 4. You have low tolerance for feeling like you caused harm. Here's something most people completely miss about this behavior. It's not really about the object at all. It's about you. When you bump into something, there's a split-second flash of guilt, a sense that something went wrong and you were part of it. The apology is how your brain resolves that discomfort fast. Psychologists call this guilt repair behavior. You're not apologizing to the chair. You're releasing the tension of feeling like you disrupted something, even when nothing was actually disrupted. Nothing broke. Nothing felt pain. But your brain flagged it anyway. People who do this tend to hold themselves to a very high standard of care. And they feel the weight of that standard even in situations where literally no one else would. No shot. They just walk away and let it go. Sign 5. You pick up on emotional atmosphere, even in rooms. This one is fascinating. Dr. Waytz found that people who anthropomorphize objects also tend to be highly sensitive to the emotional vibe of physical spaces. You know that feeling when you walk into a room and just know something happened before anyone says a word? Like when the group chat goes quiet or the energy at a family dinner shifts for no obvious reason. That's your brain doing this exact thing. It's always running the same background question. What is this place feeling right now? It treats spaces and objects as participants in the environment, not just background noise. That kind of environmental awareness, the ability to catch feelings from a room the way others catch them from people, is genuinely rare, and it's not something you can learn or teach. Sign 6. You have a strong need for social harmony. People who say sorry to objects almost always have one thing in common. They hate disruption. Not just conflict with other people, any disruption. The feeling that something is off, that balance has been broken, even slightly. It genuinely bothers them in a way it doesn't bother most people. Dr. Adam Waytz connects this to pro-social behavior, the deep instinct to restore peace in a social environment. Your brain runs that same program even when the environment is just a room and the object is just furniture. Think about how you feel when someone leaves a conversation on red, or the mood in a group shifts and nobody addresses it. That low-grade discomfort, that's the same wiring. You bump into something and your nervous system flags it as a disruption. The apology is how you restore the vibe. It happens before logic even gets a chance to step in. And I'm living for this explanation, honestly. Sign 7. You process the world through connection, not just logic. Most people move through life in a pretty transactional way. Things are tools. Spaces are neutral. Objects are just objects. But people who apologize to chairs, tables, and doors, they move through the world differently. They assign weight to things. They notice. They consider. They feel a kind of relational pull toward everything around them, not just the people in the room. That's not irrational. It's a different cognitive style entirely, one that tends to produce people who are warmer, more creative, and more socially attuned than average. Dr. Waytz's research shows this trait appears most strongly in people who build the deepest relationships, people who remember what matters to others, who show up consistently, and who make the people around them feel genuinely seen and considered, not just sometimes, every single time. This whole trait ate and left no crumbs. If you apologize to objects, you're not weird. You're wired for connection. Your brain cares so much about impact that it literally cannot turn that off for furniture. That's not something to fix. That's something to understand about yourself. And now you do. Drop a comment right now. What's the most embarrassing object you've ever apologized to? I'll reply to the best one in the first hour.